True with Guns America, I am here with Dave Higginbottom down in Florida, and we are at the Full Spectrum Warrior facility, and we have been testing out Safariland retention holsters. So we've done everything from room clearing to hand-to-hand combatives, where I kind of messed my knee up actually, and I mean, wrestling over guns, trying to get them out of holsters, doing stuff in vehicles, doing stuff in the dark. And what I want to ask you about today for our viewers is, can you kind of run us through retention, because it's kind of confusing to people. And I believe, from what I understand, I mean, obviously cowboys were putting a little piece of leather over their single action hammer to hold their gun in so it didn't fall out when they're riding their horse. But Safariland kind of pioneered the modern retention holster as we know it today, but people find it confusing. So can you kind of run us through what retention is and what the levels are? Because we hear 1, 2, 3, 4, and I mean, everybody's like, what the crap?
Retention it is confusing. It's easy to understand if you go back to its beginnings. You're talking about the little hammer loop on a leather holster. In the 20th century, people had a lot of snaps, those thumb brake holsters where you had one single motion to pop a snap on a leather holster would open it right up. And that's where Bill Rogers began. So Bill Rogers and Rogers Holsters here out of Florida, that was part of the portfolio that Safariland ended up acquiring and developing further into what we're seeing today. So Bill Rogers invented the concept. And his idea was that one hand motion equaled one level of retention. So if you have here a Safariland 7000 series holster, this is a level 3, we have our secure locking strap, and underneath, right down here, you see the ALS, the automatic locking system. Now this strap over the top and the automatic lock, which engages in the ejection port, those are only 2 devices. But if you look at the hand motions, you first have to push down, because if you let go, it pops right back up. So if you push down, that's 1. You rock it forward, that's 2.
So that's a level 2.
In Bill's mind, he was looking at this as like, hey, there's one level here and one level there, just like if you had to pop one snap and then a second snap. And now your third level comes from the automatic locking system right here underneath. And so that's how you eventually pull it, because just like this, so these systems are redundant. If you have it locked up, this strap right here will never take any of the force. The force is entirely on that lock until that lock fails.
That was to fail, yeah.
And now you have a fail safe.
So this is a level 3 then, because it requires 3 motions of your thumb.
That's correct.
Okay, so how long does it take to actually get one of these out? Does it slow you way down?
Not at all.
But if that's on your holster, or if that's on your side, and somebody that should not have access to this gun comes in and tries to get it from a weird angle,
that's right,
it's going to be very difficult for them to get that out of the holster.
Yes, because not only do you have to go down and then forward, but you have to bring that motion back while also attempting to grab a hold of the gun and remove the gun. And this provides a lot of time for a reaction from whoever's wearing the gun that doesn't want the gun taken away feloniously.
Okay, so you guys pioneered this concept. You guys are the ones that have kind of named the levels.
That's right.
And now you've got competitors out that are trying to claim that they have stuff that's level 3, and they may just require one motion. It doesn't have their naming convention is not the same as yours, even though they're using the same terminology.
That's correct.
Okay, so let's talk about, so this is a level 3. Show us the other levels, if you would.
Absolutely. So level 1 for us begins with the simple ALS, the automatic locking system. Drop the firearm in, sometimes you can even drop it, but it takes a very light push, and that engages that ejection port. Now, no amount of pulling on this is gonna get this gun free from this holster. Okay,
so that's what we've been using, that's what I've been using here at this facility, doing everything we've been doing.
That's correct.
In fact, I mean, we were literally trying to, like, wrestling and trying to rip them out of each other's holsters, and yeah, unsuccessfully.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. That's how you hurt your knee, yeah. So, one motion, firearms out. This is a very fast design. These are duty rated. You hit it, it's there. Now you can take level 2 in a lot of different directions. Okay. Level 2 can be the actual SLS itself, that one strap with 2 motions. So it comes down and forward. If you hit it fast, it's a very clean rocking out. 2 levels with no ALS underneath equals level 2. You can also take the ALS itself and put on what's referred to as the ALS guard. This is a much less popular configuration. In fact, we sell virtually none of these commercially. Wow. But there are still some units out there that want this. It's a little bit leaner. And again, the motion is simple. You push the ALS guard forward, and that frees this to come back. Whereas with the ALS guard there, if you tried to thumb it back, you would hit the ALS guard, and you're not gonna be able to rock it back.
Interesting.
Level 3, as we talked about then, would be the strap. with the ALS underneath, SLS, ALS combo.
First holster we talked about.
That's right.
Okay.
Now the last device is called the Sentry device. And this is how you take something to level 3 or again with the ALS up to level 4. The Sentry blocks the path of this coming down. No matter how hard you push, if this is engaged, it's not gonna go, but you rock this back. So it's back with your thumb for 1, down with your thumb for 2, forward with your thumb for 3, because there's no ALS. A lot of 1911 holsters were built like this because of the opposing safeties on them and the access needed. But now you have level 4. And so if you are an officer that's going to be standing in a line of people, you're going to be in a crowd where your situational awareness prevents you from watching your back. You know there's going to be rioters, you expect to be pushed, and still the safest place for your firearm is in the holster. So you want to lock it up. Now you have this barrier, these 2 barriers, and the 4th that's coming off. So these, in their final configurations, it's about as secure as it gets.
Okay.
Now the reality of this is that every time you increase the level of security, you have to go back and train. Because if you habituate to a level 3 or a level 1 and you go to level 4,
it's one extra.
Now there's one extra bit of muscle movement that you need to train for.
Yep.
Safariland has always been about security over speed. We build speed through training and familiarity and muscle movement. If you get out and you work with these holsters and you do your dry fire drills and you go to the range and you practice, when that adrenaline kicks in, the motion is very, very intuitive.
Yep.
People have no problem at all.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about what series of holster is this?
That is a 6000 series holster.
So this is what I've been using, and it's got the nylon on top of Kydex, and it's got leather inserts.
That's correct.
It's been a very comfortable holster to use. It's got the original ALS in it. It's really fast, and it's been super strong.
Yes, this holster has been evolving for more than 50 years now.
Okay, so if you guys want to know what the military, what special forces guys are using, it's the 6000 series. So the exact specific model number is going to depend on what firearm and what barrel length, but it's going to start with a 6.
That's correct. Or what you put on the back.
Okay.
You have a UBL versus on this it's the QLS.
Yep.
Every time you change this on the back, which they're all modular, they can be interchangeable, you change the model number. Safariland has thousands and thousands of SKUs based off what is realistically the same holster body on a different belt attachment.
Okay.
In a different color, new SKU.
Yeah, you guys, so I personally find your website and your model system very confusing, but if you can't figure out what holster you need, call their customer service.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a great way to go about it.
Yeah, so there you go. So if you know you want one of these, which these are really amazing, and you can't figure out which model goes to your gun, just call Safariland.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's talk about this as the last holster here. Tell us what this is.
So we have the 3 families of duty rated holsters now, the 6000 series, which has been out for close to 50 years.
Okay.
The 7000 series is approaching its 15th year right now. These guys have a lot of permutations. If you look at these are very, very lightweight. They're almost minimalist in their design as compared to the footprint of this.
Yeah, well, this one does not handle the light. This one does, though.
That's correct.
Yeah, so this has a light on it.
And this
I'm
one's
not
a
going to pull this out and flag everybody, but you can see we have a light on this.
Yes. So if you put a light, you put one of these big old garage doors up top for the optic, you're gonna increase the footprint of the holster a little bit. These have been insanely popular with law enforcement since their introduction. What we heard repeatedly was that there was a need for something that was stronger. And so we've been leaning on the pickup truck analogy right now, right? So we've got an F-150, a 250, and now this is the Super Duty on the far side. This is Vault. Vault is bomb-proof. What we've done is we've taken the design and we've beefed it up everywhere around. We have all kinds of features specifically in this holster that make it the most durable holster, not only that Safariland's ever built, but really that's ever been built, ever. And it is very, very strong. It's extremely crush resistant. There's almost no flex. You can take a tremendous amount of force. On some of these lightweight holsters, they're meant to be small, they're meant to be light, and that sometimes has given the perception of a lack of strength. They're still duty rated and they'll still stand up to a hell of a lot of abuse.
Sure.
But Vault, on the other end, takes that to the maximum. If you need a holster that can withstand absolutely anything, the Vault family is the way to go.
Okay. So guys, hopefully that helps understand the Safariland retention systems. Now you know that it's really not about how many locks, it's about how many different motions that it requires to unlock it.
That's right.
So, and then hopefully you kind of got an idea on the different series here that Dave has run us through so that you can figure out what you need. And if you own a gun shop, what you need to be ordering so that you've got the right holsters for people. If you're a consumer, what you need so that it fits your application. I know I heard a story the other night of a person that was out hunting and had a Safariland, and tell me what series holster was it? They had it mounted on a chest rig.
It was one of these. It was a 6000 series holster mounted on a chest rig.
With an ALS, and they actually tipped their UTV off of a cliff. Is it a UTV?
Yep.
All their stuff, radios, everything got destroyed, lost, fell out, but they ended up with their gun still strapped to their chest, and nobody knew where they're at, so search and rescue teams were out. And they actually, because they had their gun, they were able to actually retain it.
That's right.
Didn't fall out and didn't lose it spinning down this mountain, and they were able to actually use their gun to signal for help because they still had it, because their holster from Safariland had retained it.
Yeah.
So you know, you don't need to be a police officer to find that, hey, this is going to be a good thing. If you're into open carry as a civilian, you are retarded to open carry and not have some sort of retention device, because somebody that shouldn't have your gun can walk up behind you and take it from you if you don't. So
absolutely.
So for anybody out there that's looking for holsters, this is a good place to start with this retention system. Figure out what you need, and there you go. So for more information, you can go to Safariland's website or GunsAmerica. So we appreciate you guys watching. We will see you next time here at GunsAmerica. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share.